punch. And he was in a bar and they were exchanging some words, and a guy got a little mad over a pool game and threw a sucker punch at my guy. Matt's trained maybe seven, 8 times with me at this stage. And Matt has a wrestling background. The guy approaches him, loops the sucker punch at him. Matt uses the wrist out block that I teach him for boxing and kickboxing, the wrist out block. He throws his hands up, deflects the punch successfully, does a double leg, dumps the guy on his back, bouncer drags him out. Okay, so the sucker punch is still probably the most common of all street attacks. In the ring, the overhand right or loop-in punches, every knockout, we deal with these the same. And what we're going to talk about a little bit is defending that sucker punch, and then every other knockout. Like, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when you're scrolling through reels, I stop and watch every knockout. Muay Thai style knockout, street fight knockout, boxing knockouts. I just like to watch them. I like to see what happens, what type of position the guy's in, etc. So the one thing that David Dice and I, my partner here on the channel, we have done extensively dived into knockouts, both street knockouts and ring knockouts. And we've identified one thing that is absolutely common in virtually every single knockout that you see across all levels, from beginner all the way through the pros. And typically it's a lack of position. So we teach a 3-point guard. And what that means is, and stay with me because I'll explain what that has to do with the knockout here in a second. But on a 3-point stance, basically, and guys, here's something that's very important, that the fastest thing to take out a fighter isn't a knockout or a sucker punch. It's blocking every lesson that comes through because you think you know everything. Like, I've had people, after we teach them how to hold their hands, they're like, that's too complicated, just hold your hands up. It's not that easy. There's lots of guys who think their hands are up that are unconscious doing a lip stand because they weren't on guard, okay? So what the guard means, example, is when we do a 3-point stance, we know sort of a framework of where the hands should go, right? You don't just say, put your hands up. That's a bad coach. This could be put your hands up. Put your hands up should be a guard, a defensive position. And the way we like to do it is we tuck the elbows in. There's 1 guard, 2, there's 2 points. The rear hand, like, I think the camera's reversed the way you're seeing it. So it looks like I'm throwing my right, but I'm throwing my left. I don't know if it's reversed for you guys, but my rear hand, that hand touches my chin, rear elbow touches the body. The front elbow touches the body. The other hand is a definitive lead hand, like it drips a couple inches off the chin. This is a distant style of fighting, right? We're at the end of a punch. When we're closer, the hands come closer to the body. And when somebody is dripping away, the hands can drift out, right? So the farther they move away, you can get away with your hands being a little further out. As they get closer, we like this 3-point guard. And then inside, you would go to 4 points. You got 4-point touching. I'm seeing your comments, guys. Hey, what's up? Skywalker, Muay Thai isn't the best. Don't disagree. I don't disagree. So position, right? Every knockout that you see for a sucker punch from these guys, when the videos say this guy shouldn't have been in the ring, they're right. Some of the pro fights, kickboxing, doesn't matter what it is, you'll never find somebody with all 4 points connected. Every single time the hands are down. So if it's a street fight situation, what kind of guard or what kind of defense? If it's a ring fight, where were the hands at when the punches came? So again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what style, it doesn't matter who you train with, it doesn't matter. When somebody gets dropped, they're generally out of position. You won't find a knockout where somebody has an elbow tucked, both elbows tucked in, their hands close to their chin in an on guard position, on balance. You don't see knockouts. You see knockouts when I react to something like a punch and start to reach away, or I fall for a feint and the hands start to go down, or I've just thrown a punch and instead of maintaining the 4 points, I bring it back low, boom, and then they get clipped. If you go back in slow motion, all of the fights. Now here's the thing. Does that mean that I can defend every punch? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that. Everybody falls for this stuff. What it means is, without a base position to fall back on, how the heck do you think you're going to defend anything? You got to have some sort of framework of where do your hands go. It doesn't matter what your style is. You just have to be in some sort of position. So if you can keep a good, strong default position, for us, 3-point guard, 3-point stance, when a punch goes out, it's 4 points. So the hands on the target, chin's inside, rear hands up, rear elbows in. So the other punch, it's the same. Now, ideally, is that good? Yeah. Is it possible to do it continuously? No. Everybody makes the mistakes. The problem is there are so many fighters who don't even understand what the position is. Like, if you don't have a position to fall back on, then what is your default to do against a sucker punch, right? So that's number one. Number one is your stance in position. So without a good position, again, I like the 3-point out of a bladed stance. That's what we like. There's other ways of doing stuff. Sure, there are. Again, most fighters are not knocked out because of, and we have, of course, some stupid comments as usual. Yep, Chris, you're, hi. So most fighters they think they know everything, right? When I was younger, I made it a point to always look at the guys older than me, watch those fighters, and always keep my mouth shut and try to learn something, right? I was always trying to learn. And I wanted to see if they could do it or not, right? When I tested this stuff, it was through 48 different tough man and bad man contests back before they were regulated. So I could be fighting a street fighter, I could fight some country farm boy, or it could be some guy that's had 25 pro fights. You don't know. So you defend some crazy sucker punches, you defend some really clean shots. I mean, it was just very eye-opening what defense should look like. I see you, Chris. I see you. All right, so I'm looking at your questions, guys. I'm looking. And if there's a question I can answer, I'll be glad to get it for you. That's what I'm here for today. Yeah, there's some comments that are just generic, which aren't bad. Somebody said for street fighting, you need Muay Thai. No, you need to be able to react and get your crap out of dodge. But then it's just be able to land a good punch or a kick. You don't need a particular style. You need to be able to react accordingly. That happens to be a good style for it. Don't disagree on that. Okay? So position first. Let me stay on track. So position is first. Where do your hands go? Where do your elbows go? Then it's going to be your ability to react. Like, how do you read and respond? If you overreact to everything that comes at you, you're going to be out of position. Obviously, don't matter what style you are, right? If you can't maintain a good base position. So I think the position is number one. Your ability to react, to read and react. If you think about it, the letter R does a lot for self-defense. So the letter R, if you think about this, and we actually teach a seminar series on the letter R for fighting. What do? You, in a fight, you read stuff that's coming at you. You have to react, respond. When punches come, you roll with the punches. Sometimes you ride things back, you recover, respond. There's a lot of things that happen with the letter R. Anyway, so your ability to read, react, and respond, to see an incoming shot, how fast can you get your hands up to defend it, stuff like that. I think that's equally as critical. For all of us that are martial artists, hey guys, what's up from Indonesia? All of us that are martial artists, we have, there's a thing that you have to understand that under stress, under real stress, it's not the same, right? So you can box and get in a ring and put on gear. You roll around on the floor like I'm a fan of grappling. You can do a Muay Thai workout, whatever. But what you'll notice is during press conferences with the top fighters in the world, they get mad at each other and they look like crap. They're slapping, ducking their head, off balance, throwing wild shots. Have you ever thought about that? So you've got the best fighters in the world, and when they get mad under stress, they crumble. Like, they don't look like straight, clean shots, and they don't look like professional high-end fighters. They look like common street fighters all of a sudden. Why is that? It's because in the ring, they are comfortable. That's their space, man. When you're in the ring, they're used to that stress. That's one reason why they're so good, because they are used to handling stress in the ring. Stress in the street is completely different. All of a sudden, I don't know if you've got a knife, a gun, you've got 3 buddies. I could have my wife with me. I've got grandkids, man. What if my grandkids are with me? You've got a whole different stress level. So if you think that you're going to use your martial arts style in a street fight, you might be mistaken unless you understand how to handle the stress and can handle a quick reaction to something coming at you. So this is coming from somebody with black belts in 7 different styles. I'm not cracking on our martial arts. I'm just cracking on the fact that a lot of us don't understand that under real stress, it's not the same. Me blocking a punch against the biggest guy I ever fought was 330 pounds, like 6'4", right? The biggest, hardest punches I've ever blocked, it's not the same as a street fight. However, the ability to react, stay calm, understand to get my hands up, ability to survive, go through some combatives, understand what stress feels like, all of that does carry over to some degree, right? So what do we got so far? Defending the sucker punch and every other knockout out there. That's what the title of the video is. So first is position. Without a solid position, we like that 3-point stance. It's kind of hard to defend, right? When you throw a punch, all your knockouts that you see, your favorite highlight reels, I love watching them. All the highlight reels that you see, every time somebody gets knocked out, I'm talking 99% of the time, the 4 points are not connected. They are either dropping a hand, they are reaching out to respond to something, they're not recovered, they're leaning, they're never in this tight guard. Chin down, hands up, elbows in. So fight for position. Second is your ability to react. So how fast can you react to what's coming at you? A tuck of a chin and the quick throwing up of the hands can well save you that first punch, right? Just a quick response to get your hands up. Then there's footwork, right? So a good clean footwork and the ability to move to take you out of line is the next best way to not get knocked out. So I want you to think like this. If you're laying on a bench press and you're bench pressing weight and it's directly in front of you, you're on your back, let's say you're benching 225, whatever that is, okay? You're strong when the weight is lined up in front of your chest and your shoulders, right? If I told you you had to press the weight this way, off at an angle, you're not gonna handle hardly anything. The second you move, you're gonna dump the first plate, the other one's gonna jerk across, you're gonna fumble it all over the floor, all because we made a change in your alignment, right? From it straight in front of you off to the side. So a footwork, if you can just angle to one side or angle to the other side, you throw off power. Fighters know this. Obviously you know this. You know how to take angles. You know how to move. You know how to turn. Martial arts guys, most of them know how to take angles. The problem is if you can't read it, if you can't handle the stress, you're not going to recall the ability to do that. So this is a great story. We brought a guy out who had the old style Bullet Man suit with a big bullet helmet and a full Bill Kip. The guy's awesome, great at teaching you to handle stress. So I spent a lot of money to bring him out, and he, what we call wolfed, he elicited a stress reaction to all of my fighters, cussing, calling them names. You'd be surprised how stressful that is, especially in front of all your boys, right? So he would engage with a verbal just onslaught, and then he would just attack you. And you could throw whatever you wanted at him. You could throw any punches, you could elbow him, full power. You can knee him in the groin, full power. You don't have to hold anything back. And I watched fighters literally crumble and look like little street kids in the yard. Big mouth, little game when there was stress. Then they adapted. And he settled them down and said, all right, you got to handle the stress of this situation because you see what happens when you don't. Everybody swallowed their pride, listened to this guy, and then when the next street scenario started, they were able to maintain their calm, stay cool, and we're able to fight back and look and do a great job at it. So understanding the stress. So what are we dealing with on on the sucker punch? First of all, if it's a true sucker punch and you never saw it, good luck. Being aware, keeping your eyes on it. Okay, one, having a good position so you can get your hands up to some sort of guard where you can defend yourself. That'll help a little bit, right? Have a good position. Next, what is your ability to read and react and respond to things coming at you? How good are you at that? And can you use footwork? Can you pull off line? Man, can you just run the other direction? Obviously, in a ring, we can't run, but you can use footwork to keep somebody from getting set, which is one of the 3 rules. So these are the things that we're recommending. We have hundreds of drills for this, but I'll give you what Joe Louis taught me, the rules of engagement. So the rules of engagement for fighting are, oh man, tons of questions. I'll get you in a second. So the rules of engagement are, as soon as the fight begins, the first thing you do is get off first, right? So you try to be the first one to get off, no matter what it is. I'm first one to get off. Get off first. Generally, it's with a good jab. It's not a lunging jab. We're not headhunters. We just try to stick a good jab. The next one is attempt to keep the other guy on his heels, right? If we can keep him on his heels going backwards, he's not going to be nearly as effective. That was rule 2. So first rule, get off first. Second rule, try to keep the other guy back on his heels. And the third rule was don't let him get set. And these are the rules that Joe Louis kind of ingrained in my head. So the fight starts, you get off first, you try to get him moving backwards. If you can keep him moving backwards, keep driving, right? If he gets his balance, you don't let him set. Stick and move the jab, baby. You got it, Adam. All right, let me scroll back. I got quite a few questions on here. So kind of remember those rules. It's kind of a good concept. Does that mean, which guys, I have to deal with a lot of guys on here that, must be in mom's basement on their computer, right? That don't understand some of this stuff, okay? So mindset rules are a framework. It doesn't mean you can beat everybody in the world because you know this. It means that you have a framework and a way to understand how to engage. So our rules of engagement, I don't want you to throw first. I want to see if I can get off first. If I can keep you backing up, you're probably not as effective. And if I can keep you from getting set to use all your power, then that's probably an advantage. It's hard work to learn that, but that's a strategy. Can you show some kickboxing? I don't know exactly what you want me to show you. I don't mind. Adam was a boxer. Cool. Let's see what we got. Kempo. I've studied some Kempo. It's not that I'm not a fan. We just had a difficult time applying that in real situations. But a lot of stuff is good. All right, Adam. Thanks. Block and counter. Hey, look, when you can, absolutely. And people can train blocking and countering. If you take a simple drill, like take a right hand and glove up with your buddy, and you have him shoot a right hand at you. You make sure you understand a good block. We teach a couple of them on the channel. You make the block, and you learn to automatically respond. So think about what I said earlier about the letter R. He's going to throw that punch. You're going to learn to read it. You're going to react to it by making a block, and you're going to teach yourself to respond. So we do 2 counter 2 or 1 counter 2. So if somebody throws a punch, you block it, you counter 2. Fun way to train, create some good habits. Okay, so Art and Sai made this comment. This isn't a bad comment, but Shotogan, Goju-Ryu, Kyokushinkai, Muay Thai, Judo, BJJ, Wrestling, Kempo, Slot, Krav Maga, and Boxing. If you have trained in any of these, you can survive on the street. Okay, so I disagree, and not with the way that you think. All of those are good martial arts, but you have to understand what I'm telling you. If you can't handle the stress, I've unfortunately been in a few on the street as well. Don't ever be proud of that. If you are, you're a thug. So I'm not proud of that. Stuff happens. But if you can't handle the stress of the situation, your martial art will not save you. It doesn't matter. Like I have a black belt from Israel in Krav Maga. I think that a lot of the Krav Maga in America is weak. And it's weak because if the air conditioning's broken, they shut down the school. There's no stress in America. Like you don't undergo the stress that they're going through in Israel. That training is legit hard and rough. And in America, you're afraid you're going to get sued. So the people in the class, if you've got a good instructor who's teaching you how to handle stress, that's different. You got to handle it somehow. You've got to either fatigue people completely out, or you've got to mentally get them, messed up in the head so they can make their stuff work under stress. You guys see, you're making me sweat, right? I'm on the coast of North Carolina. I was completely dry, and in a minute I'm going to be soaked. All right, so wasn't a bad comment though, and I understand what you're saying. They're all good choices. Let's see. Neely, first live. Glad you're here. Have I fought professionally? Okay, so when I fought, I got paid. So the original fights in the original Tough Man and Bad Man contest, they weren't regulated. The most experienced guy I fought was out of Roberto Duran's training camp way back, and he'd had 150 amateur fights. I don't know how many pro fights. He was on the Olympic Army boxing team. This is straight boxing, and had been in Roberto Duran's training camp. On the same night, I could just fight some street fighter who's good for about 4 punches and he's out of gas. Also could be fighting some farm boy who can bench press a tractor. You just don't know. But the winners back then, we'd make $500,000, $1,500 to win the event. So that's where I started. And as I started doing that, I started training with Joe Louis. So at the same time I was fighting in those, I was able to spar and train with world champions and great coaches, boxing, kickboxing, as we came up to the ranks, and was sparring with Joe Louis when he was young enough to still kick all of our tails. So it was a good experience there. Our record total, I think we calculated we're like 142-8 now with all of our fighters over the last few years. Pro boxing, we're 26-2. So we made a quick little run and started taking fighters into straight boxing for a little while. Had some good success with the system. Okay, so Keon, okay, your message was held, buddy, because you put the word knife in there. What you should do when somebody has a knife: run, man, run. And I'm not being a smart aleck, run. So here's the thing about the knife. Any instructor that teaches you, you should learn some knife defenses. But I personally believe you're going to get cut, right? It's too much margin for error. Now, there's some really cool crab defenses that we've used. Great if you see it coming. The guy doesn't like shank you super quick. There's some stuff you could try to do. I wouldn't engage the knife. I would rather test my luck against a gun almost than a knife. Both is really stupid. Here's the way we tested ours. And this may give you an idea of a way to see where your skills are. So we would load air guns with pellets, and we would do all the defenses in every major area against the gun. And the person with the gun was instructed, if you see me move or you feel threatened, pull the trigger. And all my students had to do that. So if it was a headshot, it's right at the front of your head. We wore safety gear as needed. We're not stupid, but you want to see if you could test when I move, does he pull the trigger? If somebody pulls the trigger, it's too late. Hope you know your creator. Jesus will meet you there, okay? So we tested it against that. For the knife defenses, we use what are called no-lie blades. So they're felt around the outside of a knife, and it's lined with this red stuff that if it touches you, you're cut. So if you go to do some fancy knife defense, and when we're done doing the defense, you've got red slashes all over your wrist, you're dead. And that's how we tested them, and that's how we learned. Does that mean that's the best way? Surely not. Is it a way to see where you are? Yeah, I think it is a really reasonable test. Would it be recommended? Sure. If you guys think you can defend against a knife or a gun, then find an instructor qualified to help you test that in as safe a way as possible. But number one, my man, just get out of there. Grab something. Man, literally, if somebody has a knife, I'm picking up the first thing I can possibly find. Forget boxing, forget everything else. Give me a brick. So, Adam, stick and move. Yeah, you stick and move in the jab is still, that would be falling under those rules of engagement where we say get off first. So, boom, you get off and then you're gone. So you move. Throw the jab, move, throw the jab, move. Yeah, and top feed, I can't disagree. An educated left hand is going to be your fastest weapon. So Joe Louis used to stand like this, and he would teach us we negotiate this way because you have that finger flick to the eyes whenever you want it from this guard. So midsection's kind of protected, throat is kind of protected, so you're sort of stuck in in a decent guard while you're negotiating with somebody. And yes, I can do a roundhouse kick. There's videos of me kicking on the channel. I have to set up, turn my bags. I don't care. I think everybody wants to just see me kick. If they do, I'll do it. Any other questions you guys have about that? So I think the sucker punch is a valid topic because I see guys online. And look, if you're on this channel, I hope you have a little bit of maturity to understand. Maybe you don't. You could be 13 years old and not mature at all. You could be, I don't know. But I don't go around making negative comments on other people's channels. Like I don't care. If I don't think it's any good, I'm just gonna scroll right past it, right? I see the channels where people are teaching martial arts, and it is McDojo. It's kind of funny. Like you got guys that act like they're knocking people over without touching them, and they're, throw a punch and leave it out there so I can go through all my little moves. Obviously that stuff is nonsense. But I don't want to call anybody out because look, it's a free country for now, and guys are in there doing whatever it is they're doing. Just let them do whatever they do. For yourself, use your own head. Critically think through what is real and what is not real. Obviously, having a good hand position is better than not having a good hand position. Being able to train yourself to read real punches coming at you and being able to respond is logically a smart way to train. Knowing that you have good enough footwork to get your ass out of trouble if you're getting pinned down, somebody's ready to throw punches at you, is probably not a bad thing to know. If it starts requiring you to do some sort of specific motion, some particular come on guys, it's just tough. It's not that it can't work. It's just highly, incredibly likely that it won't work. Ask anybody that's been in any type of real fights. It's very unpredictable. It's exceptionally chaotic. You can't think of anything. You get tunnel vision. You get what's called auditory exclusion. You don't hear anything. It's like you're in a tunnel. Your fine motor skills deteriorate, like you're not throwing these sharp, clean punches, and you sure are not using some redirection move that you learn in a martial arts class. It's just incredibly unlikely that you can make that work. It's not impossible. Anything could work, but if you use your head and you think, all right, so if I'm boxing, at least boxers learn and my personal belief, again, I'm a martial arts guy who's been boxing for 40 years. You give me any boxing student who's been in a real gym where he's learning real skills for 6 months will whip 90% of any black belt you put in front of him. Is it because boxing's better than martial arts? No, it's because the way boxers train is better than martial arts. Boxers are conditioned. If you go to a lot of martial arts schools, everybody's a little bit out of shape. It's a free country. Just not good to fight if you're not in very good condition, right? So boxers are in shape. They know what it's like to throw. They know what it's like to receive. They're used to impact, either through hitting a bag or doing the drills. And most black belts, martial arts, are not used to that type of pressure. So if you turned a boxer loose and send him across the ring after a black belt, most of the black belts are in trouble. Unless it's a grappler who can get the guy down. And then you're looking at how good is the grappler versus how good is the boxer. Super experienced BJJ guy against a beginner boxer, boxer's probably going down, right? Boxer learns how to grapple and how to defend that, much better chance. That's sort of my view. So you kind of think through what is it that you feel like works for you. So again, this kind of comment, show us something. I don't know if you're trying to be funny or what you want to see. You want to see punches, kicks, knees, elbows. There's 300 videos on the channel. You can watch that. If you're being serious, tell me what you want to see. I mean, I'm not scared to show you something, but it just sounds like a silly comment. All right. So what do you think, guys? What do you think about the sucker punch? What do you think about defending it? We got over 100 people been watching this broadcast, lots of good comments. What do you think? Do you agree? Have a good position, Is that logical to you, that if your hands and your head are in a good position, you have at least a chance of blocking or moving out of the way of a punch? Should you be able to read and react? What type of training gives you that sort of reaction time? Like, what's going to help you with that? What about footwork? You know, are you going to rely on some fancy jumping around footwork? Or do you feel like you should just get down, you know, how do I move back? How do I move left? How do I move right? Should I get really, really good at basic footwork? Do you understand that, or do you agree that it's exceptionally difficult to make a lot of fancy martial arts moves work under stress? So if you've never been under any duress in a fight that's real, then you don't feel, you don't know, like you don't understand. And the guys that do, they absolutely understand. What's up, Diva? Let's see, Samuel, sucker punches are okay if they get you out of a pinch. Being the recipient of one, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, we're not talking about throwing them, man. We're talking about catching them, coming in like that looping punch. I saw one today, a road rage incident, and just proves my point. That shove happens. The one guy pulls back. He goes to throw his punch. The defense is like this, so he didn't go to a guard. He threw his hands out. So the first one clips him, and when he gets clipped, the hands now do something like this as he steps back. So he has no points touching, no guard, no chin position, no shoulder position, nothing. He gets hit with another one, and the guy's punches are terrible, but the dude's wide open. One pops him, he hits the ground. He's lucky the guy didn't stomp his face in. He had zero idea of how to defend himself. So just figuring out how to get your hands up. Man, Samuel, it's all good, man. Figuring out how to get your hands up, have a position, learn to react. Look, we got a video that I did with Matt. I started this video explaining to you guys that Matt, the guy that I had in the sucker punch video, got sucker punched. So, yeah, there's your, guys, everybody check the comments. That's your kind of comment that ruins YouTube. Okay, so Matt, the guy that was in our video for defending the sucker punch, got sucker punched in a bar, just playing pool. The guy wings it. He uses the block, the wrist out block. He blocked the guy, did a double leg, dropped him, bouncer drug him out. Stuff happens, right? So we want to be prepared, use whatever we can, and train smart. Is there any questions? Okay, I like this, Harold. What you got, man? Joey Dillon was my first boxing coach as a kid. Hit 66 pro fights. Yeah. So that's cool, man. Harold, it's a good combination. I think if we all would swallow our pride a little bit and understand that we all have something we can learn, instead of making stupid comments on YouTube videos about whatever martial arts style, just look at the stuff and use your head. But man, the boxing, when you take boxing reaction timing and conditioning and the reading of that style of training, and you combine that with martial arts, I think it's a legit style, okay? So you guys all see this comment guy we got down there. Be funny after the fact. Man, it's kind of interesting since I'm married with 2 kids and 3 grandkids and 1 on the way. Whew, man. All right, so any other questions? Thanks for that. All right. So on the low kicks, a couple different varieties of how you throw it. So everybody across the board, and sorry I wasn't prepared for this, and I'm not dressed in any workout clothes, but all right. So my favorite low kick is still the switch step cut kick off the left side. Joe Louis always taught that you use your hands to set up feet, not the other way around. And the reason why is if you are firmly planted on both feet, it's easy to execute a punch. If you go to kick first, you're standing on one leg, you have to reestablish position before you launch it. That doesn't mean you can't do teep kicks. It doesn't mean you can't do it. This is the way we do it. We like hands to set up feet. So here's a simple drill that I teach everybody that'll help you with developing some of your kicks. All right, so we go base position, single jab. So you go one jab, and then you step out, and we button, and we kick right. Then we go right hand, weights on the left leg, switch step, kick left. So it's one jab, one kick, put it down across kick, and then you start combining those in combinations. So what does that look like? You go like jab, right hand, weights on the left leg, you kick with the left foot. You go right hand, left hook, weights on the right leg, kick with the right foot. We can break the kick technique down exactly the way it's done. Ours is a little different because we want to be able to defend a tackle, a leg kick, boxing, sucker punch, all from the same stance. In Muay Thai, for example, I understand why they square up. David Dice did, my partner here, we did a long video on why we do not stand that way. Still fine. Still, those guys are dangerous, man. This is why we do it. Okay. All right. I like this. No mechanics. I'm not. Okay. Distance is key. Not letting them get close. Hey, listen, that's good advice. If it's possible to control. Okay, so everything I'm saying is possible. It's not some of it. All of it is possible. The difference is, can you handle the stress? Can you read? Can you put yourself in position? It's all possible. But a lot of the training, it's like, how do you train yourself? We can talk about this stuff all day, but if you don't take some drills and learn some reactions, it's all talk, if that makes sense, my man. Try to be good at boxing, but you train alone. Yeah, so, hey, look, that's why we have our program, Fighters College. Most boxing, dude, is done alone. Most of the training we do is alone. I mean, I have thousands of people who follow us. I got students that come in here and train, but most of my workouts are by myself. So that's why you have a framework. Where do my hands go? How do I step? And then we lead you through boxing workouts, and then we assess and critique you eye to eye on video once a month. FightersCollege.com. Man, at least go look at the site and see if you like it. Harold, your dude fought in Madison Square Gardens? Cool. So size is a big one. What if my opponent is bigger than me? All right, so the biggest thing, the tallest guy that I fought was 6'7". I've actually got this on tape. I should put it on the channel. Mr. T was there in my corner yelling at me during that fight, which is pretty funny. But the dude is 6'7", and it was so difficult at the time to span the distance. He was so long that I literally got to where I just hopped forward to get my hands on him. And as soon as I could grab him, as soon as I could hit him, he would grab me, they'd separate us. So I spent the entire fight trying to cover the distance against 6'7". I've learned a lot since then, thank goodness. And some of the entries, the broken rhythm entries, Joe Louis teaches, he got from Bruce Lee. Mike Tyson used a version of it in Peekaboo. The broken rhythm entries, we got a video on the channel where Louis breaks it down. He'll go 1, 2, and use that head movement and foot movement to approach a target, sort of like a peekaboo style entry. I do like that. I do like the double jab. I think that's a great entry. The biggest thing about the taller guy, if you can understand this verbiage, you don't want to be caught in what we call the trap zone. So the trap zone is between the fist and the elbow. So if you're out of range, you're okay. If you're inside the elbow, you're generally okay. But if you're caught between this distance, between the fist and the elbow, that's the danger against the taller guy. So you learn to play out long, make him miss, and chase him back in. That's called going in the back door. No dumb jokes on that, please. And then if you go in first, like if you're fast enough to get him off the draw, that's called going in the front door. Good question. I might make a video on that later if you guys want to see it. Can you show us your feints, jab, cross, front teep, and rear teep? Okay, so yeah, so a feint is useless if you don't set it up first. So we don't just start feinting all these moves. Like if you can establish a good jab first, you need to make some contact. After you establish the jab, you fake with the hand, be the head, the shoulder. Sometimes you lift up the hip. So all the feints could be, it could be low, you can body feint down, but you need to land something first. Then the feint is designed to teach them to react to it, and then you learn to follow that over the top. Mayweather has that ridiculously nasty little body jab, crack, overhand right. It's beautiful. Great example of that. Next one. SWAT. See, I told you guys I started out all dry. Look, maybe I have to change shirts making YouTube videos. SWAT guys square up when they breach because they wear body armor, and we're taught to offer that versus blading, which solo citizens, yeah, I disagree. If you're saying everybody needs to square up, You might not be saying that. I totally disagree. Let David Dice kick you in the sternum and you in the solar plexus, and you would never. The straight front kick thrown a certain way will just shatter your rib cage. So here's the thing. If I got on body armor, okay, or like Boss Rutan teaches that. Boss Rutan is a monster. He's brutal. So if you guys are built like Boss Rutan, you don't even need to know how to fight. You're big enough to take a punch from most people. I don't have a neck that thick, and I'm not that big. Like, I'm 197 pounds. He's a monster. When he fought, he was a beast. So he could stand away to take some punishment. I'm not willing to do that. That's up to you guys. Just use your head. I'm not only striking. So I have a black belt in Sambo and American Jiu-Jitsu, which is virtually useless, but the Sambo is not. I've always loved the ankle lock. It's my favorite move. I'm a big believer in getting really good at about 10 to 15 grappling moves. So our system, the way we practice it now, we want to be really good at reversing position, best we can. We want to be really good at 1 or 2 arm bars in their counters, good rear naked cross chokes in their counters, real good ankle lock in their counter, and then we try to apply that under stress. Probably wouldn't make me a good tournament grappler because I just don't spend enough time, but I spend a ton of time in every situation I can find of people trying to take me down just because I know how important it is. Thanks for the question though, man. What's your go-to if someone is rushing up on you with a teep? All right, so angling off to the side, I think is probably the best. We learned a version of a scoop style block if it's a straight teep. I just don't know if I like that so much. I would rather angle off and come in and throw. But let me reverse the question to you. So if a boxer would think like this, I'm not saying this works all the time. But let's say that I have a lightning fast jab that I'm continuously sticking in your face. And I'm able to keep that, I'm able to close up that distance and keep it and stay there with the jab in your face. It's hard to throw the teep. So sometimes instead of thinking about the defense, which we do, we instead think about, instead of me having to deal with your teep, what if I make you deal with my jab and my cut kick instead? It's sort of like now you've got to use your front leg to push yourself back. You can't throw it, you can't use it to kick. It doesn't mean that works all the time. It's a thought process of if I can keep you super busy with a jab, it makes it difficult for you to apply whatever it is that you like. Now, with that in mind, I still think footwork, I don't know. It just depends on the style of the guy. If it's a guy that's really good, it's different. If it's an average guy that trains and he's got a teep kick, I'm not too worried about that. I'll scoop it. Guys that know what they're doing, it's not quite that easy. Cool. Harold, I like that. GG, great channel. Man, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I love doing these lives. I really do, especially when I get a good group of guys that ask good questions, make good comments. I can do this stuff for hours. I literally love it. I threw my first punch. I was 15 years old. I was beaten as a kid my whole life, beat up my whole life. As soon as I learned how to box, started turning that around and got into martial arts, never looked back, never once been bored. And again, the attitude that I always had was, I'm going to learn. I'm never going to be proud. I'm not going to badmouth somebody else. And I'm just looking for somebody that's going to teach me something. I'm wide open. You never know when I'm going to learn something from you guys. Do you have experience with jiu-jitsu? I just answered that. NK, if you didn't catch that, let me know. Wrestling. Yeah, so before the UFC, when the UFC was first coming out, there's this thing called sport jiu-jitsu. And sport jiu-jitsu was the first time that mainstream tournaments were allowing you to go to the ground. So I took my school over and I fought in that tournament. And the way it was originally set up is it's supposed to be light contact. So you could do light contact striking, but you could do takedowns and grapple full power. So that doesn't sound fair. But anyway, I told all my guys, follow the rules. And so we go in, match starts. I throw like an E. I don't throw it too hard because it's light contact. Guy slips behind me, gets underneath, full suplex right on my head. Could have broke my neck. I hit the ground, and everybody started cheering. And I got up and I'm like, son of a, no way is that happening again. And that was my first experience of having my butt truly slammed. I did not get taken down again. Everybody tried, but I just let my hands fly. Now, with that said, I understood the value of grappling before a lot of the guys watching this channel were even born. So in 1995, Joe Louis and I were already doing every submission hold that you can think of. Not all you could think of. They've added some stuff, but all of the major ones that are applied today, we were doing those in 1995. Doing the submissions, doing the counters, doing submission wrestling, and worked a little bit with some of the Machados back when it was, they were a little more well-known. So yeah, I've got a little bit. I respect it. Definitely, for sure. Boss Rutan, hey, look, all I said was he's big and, you know, he teaches you to take punishment. I just don't think I don't think so. Oh, I see you, Top Feed. Thanks for saying that. Squaring up with, yeah, I agree with you, man. Thanks for saying that. All right, Damien, what should you do when your hands are basically junk? I've broken both hands. Man, elbows. Nothing beats the elbow. Fist versus elbow, elbow wins. Shin versus elbow, elbow wins. Foot versus elbow, elbow wins. There's a couple of different short little variations of elbows. And man, I would be just shooting them up elbow, cross, down diagonal, pull them back. Just get good at freaking elbows. I just think if I didn't have my hands, throwing elbows. I just think it's the most vicious freaking thing you can throw. Just nasty. Especially if you think 1, 2, 3, and you think 1, 2, 3, boom, and you can throw your elbows like hands. Whew, scary, man. Good question. All right, Travis. The best way to strengthen your Achilles tendon. Hey, man, look, I ruptured mine coaching basketball. I stepped in a hole on the court. The floor gave out, and I ruptured my tendon. I would be doing, you know what? It's too much. It's really good to do that. I would go online and just search that. I still do a lot of calf raises, a lot of heel toe stuff, a lot of standing on one leg. You know, I practice a lot of real fast. So when you're exploding forward, you know, because I had that ruptured Achilles, and I'll just do this at speed so you guys can see it. So when off that heel, I had to learn to push off again, right? So I'd spend a lot of time staying on that. And when you're double jabbing, you're pushing off the rear foot, taking a 4-inch step with the front. This foot steps up and pushes you off again. So it's like a double fire off of that leg. So when we're practicing it, so we practice how fast can I move my butt across the floor, driving off of that rear heel. So that Achilles tendon, calf, ankles, it's important stuff. Don't treat that lightly. I like the question. All right, I sure got it. Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you. As a fat, tall guy, how do I protect the sides, ribs, and head at the same time? Dude, great question. You're going to love this answer. The distance between the head and the waist is large. Okay, got it. So look at this. You're going to understand this. So if all you guys, if you put your finger in your belly button and you draw a line where your belly button is, 3 inches across, and you put a dot right at your solar plexus and you draw that triangle. You see it? There's a triangle right there. So your belly button, you draw a line, the apex of the triangle, there's a triangle. It is impossible for anybody, what's your first name again? Ashfur. It's impossible for anybody to defend all areas of the triangle without exposing your head. You cannot do it. So you can try. You can't. You can't. You can't tuck it either. The midline's going to be open. If you cover the midline, the side of it's open, right? So you learn to block body shots, not with your arm. Use your arms, but it's all in your knees. So if you train practicing body shots, it's a dip. So you can move the hand a little bit, but you dip the weight to the side the strike's coming on. So you dip, you dip, you dip. It's in your knees. So a body shot's coming, you dip that side, you dip that side. If it's up the middle, you dip and rotate. So you deflect inside. So now what you've done is you've eliminated having to do this with your arms to reach, and you start catching and using it in your body. So you practice blocking, 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 dipping the knees, rotating, rotating, rotating. So everything is in your legs. What you don't want to do is get in this habit of dropping. Because look, man, if you're a big dude, if it's me, I would try to throw a straight right hand at your body and get you to bend up so I could catch you with the left hook. That's one of my favorite combos. So to defend that, I would teach you to deflect it. Don't drop. Don't reach in with your hands. Hopefully that helps you. All right, JB, I agree. Boss Root was so deadly because he stood square instead of bladed. Yeah, just take a beating, man. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I'm not trying to be any uglier. I don't want to take any beatings. All right. Hey, what's up, Mayhew? All right, let's see. Harold's. Cool. Harold, you got some good stories, man. Got it. Nice. JD, love the elbows. Thanks, man. Can you do 1, 2, 3 elbows on the bag? Yeah. So, oh man, you guys, now you're heating me up because you got some good questions. Okay. So if your hands are, Deuteron, I can't remember if you're the one that hurt your hands. Okay. So if you're doing elbows, you know, there's all kinds of straight in is nasty. You know, front drop is rising. You know, quick little slice across is real nasty. Somebody's right up in front, rising up. Downward diagonals, if your head dips below the shoulder line, it's downward. So downward and you swim it. So it's a slice and then across and back. So up, across, boom, 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 boom. And you just let them swim. And they're snaps. They're not thrusts, right? So a bag isn't the best place to do it. But what we like to do is put punches and elbows together. So where you typically will go 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the elbow is a slice. So it's not a smash. So you slice it. Then you can go right hand, left cross elbow, and you just basically treat your elbows like your hands. Do you think learning how to grapple first is better if you want to do MMA? So I really, I'm just a striker at heart, even though I fully respect and understand grappling, but I'm in it now for self-defense. But I think the problem that you have is what you lean toward in the beginning is going to be what you lean toward. So if school that would teach, like we have a blueprint. So fighterscollege.com is our program, and David Dice and I both have trained with Joe Lewis. I have my 6th degree black belt with Lewis. He has his 7th. We have 80 plus years of training, and we basically developed a blueprint that builds you from the ground up in striking. If you could find somebody that could build you in both, like we teach certain punches and kicks, certain grappling moves at once to my one-on-one people, and they rise together instead of having to learn individually, if that makes sense. If it's me, I'm going boxing first. I just think the conditioning and the combatives is priceless, and then learn to grapple. You're in your 50s. All right, I just turned 59. And yeah, look, if you find a good school and you got some guys that'll teach you without trying to beat you up, the problem is you've got too many schools where the instructors have egos and and all the new guys are fresh meat. At the same time, you got some great schools where the instructors are cool as heck, and they're good guys and they're great grapplers and they know how to teach. So you just got to be real careful, man, what you're finding in your 50s. Unless if you're in great shape and have a martial arts background and you know how to at least kind of defend yourself, then sure. I mean, do it. Age doesn't stop anybody. I'm definitely not slowing down. All right, is it ever applicable to lift your lead leg to catch a body shot? I don't like that. I don't like that. Even if we can't even defending the kick, I'd rather turn like think like this. This will help you a little bit. So if you're throwing a kick at me, the only way I can tell if it's high or low is the position of the knee. Every kick is an extension of a knee strike. So you start a knee, and wherever the knee's pointing, the kick goes. But now you got people that can bring their knee up and flick it up or down, and you can't even see where it's coming from. So for us, if it's a kick, we're going to go into the kick. Don't like getting hit with it, for sure. But I'm going to go into it first with a two-handed block on that side, and everything's covered from head to toe. So if it's a head kick, I'm blocked. If it's a body kick, I'm blocked. If it's a leg kick, I'm blocked. And then you try to learn the second you feel it, boom, you come off swinging. Some really cool drills for doing that. Don't like lifting my legs too much. Oh, it is. Your hands are glass. I got you, Damien. So, yeah, man, I would just put the elbows together like punches. Slavinsaki. I never had a fight, but I'm shaking when someone comes to my face. That is called an adrenaline rush. And that is, we talked about this earlier in the video. So if anybody gets close to you, as soon as that flight or fight response hits, you get an adrenaline rush. Here's what happens. You get tunnel vision, so you can only see this, like you're freaking out, you're zoomed in. You get an auditory exclusion, kind of sounds like you're in a tunnel. You can hear him. Somebody could be yelling, look out, in the background. You don't even hear it. And you have a loss of fine motor skills, like your hands are nervous, shaking, heart rate picks up. At that moment, you're pretty toast. So you're already frozen. So you have to train yourself to handle the verbal and then have a little confidence. You have to learn a skill. The definition of confidence. So if you're going to be confident to handle somebody, confidence is the ability to demonstrate your skills or knowledge with profound efficacy and absolute certainty while maintaining not only a willingness, but an eagerness to remain engaged despite overwhelming odds. That's our official definition. That doesn't mean you want to fight. It means you're willing and able to execute. You have to have the skills to be able to do that, right? So first you start learning some skills, then you start learning to relax and diffuse. That's kind of stuff we could teach you as well, but that's why you're having that problem. Top feed, I like your comments. There's been a lot of journeymen and some champs that could take the punishment more than being elusive and tactical. Yeah, so huge, great comment. All you guys that are younger, don't be a bonehead and go spar super hard and take all this punishment. What's happening is every time you take a shot, even a little one, you're losing brain cells. Once you pass age 40, you already have shrinking brain cells. They're called senescent brain cells. What that is a short circuit between your brain and your hands. Fortunately, boxing training is the best thing that I've been able to keep speed and reflexes because I train drills that keep speed and reflexes. But I also, all full confession, I absolutely had my time of sparring too hard, too long, and fighting too hard in the gym. We did too much of it, for sure. We didn't know then. We didn't know. I got lucky. Like, I haven't had those problems yet. I've got friends that have from over abuse. So you learn to defend yourself and do drills and then spar progressively so you don't hurt yourself. But yeah, my man's right. A lot of punch drunk boxers. Hey, look, go watch. I'm not picking on the guys because they can fight now. Don't get me wrong. But go listen to your favorite world champions try to teach something. Now, Crawford is an exception. Dude is intelligent. Like, we love him. But a lot of the other guys, if you watch a former champion teach, you can't even understand what he's saying. He was a great fighter. He didn't intend on that happening to his brain. He didn't. But you can tell something's not right. They've taken some punishment. Try to avoid that if you can. All right, so why is it that jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and boxing have become the main arts rather than the other ones? So it's because, and some people don't like this, but when the UFC kicked in, it became the measuring ground, right? So if you're an Aikido master, you should be able to make some kind of Aikido work, but you can't. Some of the traditional martial arts styles, some hard karate guys might do okay, but if they're stubborn, if they're hard-headed, remember what knocks out more fighters than anything is what I said at the beginning. It's blocking every lesson that comes at you because you're too hard-headed to listen and think you know everything. Martial arts styles are really bad about that. My style's the best. Well, yeah, and somebody takes you down and chokes you out, and I guess you weren't the best. They had a difficult time transitioning to prove. Doesn't mean it doesn't work, but they have a really hard time proving that it does. Like, you don't make any of it work. All your guys get beat up, and then you get one Taekwondo guy who does well, and everybody's like, oh, look, Taekwondo works. Sure it does, with the right person doing it. So I think the problem became that a lot of the martial arts didn't prove themselves when the time came to prove it, and they declined. Doesn't mean they're bad, just means you got to step up if you're going to promote it. Hey, coach, your guard looks like a middle range. Is that a correct assessment? Yeah. That's a good question too, man. Dang, you got some good questions. So this is my standard guard. Three points. Elbow, hand, front elbow. So I've used this in boxing, kickboxing, tough man, bad man, sport jiu-jitsu, grappling match, unfortunately a couple street fights. And we train it against grappling, takedowns, and we do our best to make one stance work. But keep this in mind. If you drip away from me a little bit, my hands might drip away. And as you get closer, I'm going to pull them in. That's just logical. So I'll pull them in if we're in close. Mid-range, I'm in my 3-point stance. Long range, my hands may drip out a little bit, okay? So I'm not married to any one guard. We use all guards. Lewis taught me some of the stuff that the old time boxers used. One of the nastiest entries of any guard is they would go from a regular guard here and shield their head with the elbow and then boom, loop a punch over the top. Stuff is nasty. Train all the guards. Boxing one day and so. Great stories, man. What do I do for addressing the calf kick? The calf kick sucks, man. It sucks. Because if anybody can get your eyes up, it's too easy to land it, right? So for me, proper stance and footwork, like if I can move my feet, at least I got a chance. Keeping the jab in somebody's face continuously, which takes a lot of gas in the tank, but it's just the way it is. Keeping the jab in their face. If I get a jab, I got a cut kick. If I can touch you with a right hand, I've got an inside cut kick. I try to just be on the aggression. Remember the rules we talked about at the beginning of the video. Get off first. See if you can make the guy go backwards. Nobody's going to calf kick you being forced backwards, and not letting them set, like trying to stay off at a slight angle much as possible. Keep in mind, that makes it sound easy. Not easy. Takes work to be able to do it. But it sucks. Sucks. Hey, Anthony, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Good to have you. NK, is there a good age to start MMA? Or is it the same as long as you train? Tell me how old you are. There's no age or better age to start. You know, competition, the chances of making money or anything is, you know, pretty slim for most people. But that's not why you train. So here's your lesson for today for everybody. You don't do a particular martial art to master a martial art. You use a martial art style to master yourself. So it's all about the training, the discipline. You know, at 59, I never thought when I was 40 I'd still be doing all this at 59 years old. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect I'd still be sparring 25-year-olds, training MMA fighters. Like, I'm glad. I just never stopped, right? So I use the martial arts training as something that we continuously do and get better at it. Man, there's no age. You go, boy. Start. Hey, Barney, thanks for that, man. Damien, thanks for all the knowledge. Hey, look, man, you are welcome. I'm here to answer questions. Anytime you guys got them, this is the funnest thing. Running the channel is great. I love it. But my favorite part is being able to interact with you guys. And keep in mind, you know, of course, we have a full course, Fighters College. If you guys like this stuff, you'll flip once you see what's in there. Go to fighterscollege.com. At least check us out. Let me know what you think of the page. So jab hazard. So when you're doing your first fight in kickboxing amateur, how would you approach? Be in shape, man. Be in shape. Be in shape. Be in shape. Conditioning is huge. And then lots of drills to work on offense and defense. Like if it's above, whatever it is, above or below the belt, I would really get good at 2 punches and a kick. 1, 2, left kick, right hand, left hook, right kick. Good hard jab, round kick. Like get really good and train a lot of defense. You want some help with that? Shoot me a text. 336-682-5541. That's my cell phone number. Yep, I know Jesus loves me. Thank you. Love him too. Jab hazard for sure. Hey, Top Feed. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hey, you got it. Anytime. Just reach out. So any other questions, guys? What I tell you at the beginning of the video. My shirt was dry, and now it's soaked. I should have just worked out today and filmed it. Huh. Any other questions? So the topic of today was the sucker punch. Critical. Got to train it. Don't just talk about it. My favorite way to train the sucker punch, again, we've got a video. It's called You Won't Last 2 Seconds If You Don't Know This. And it's talking about the flinch guard that I'm a big fan of if you get caught off guard. Flinch your guard out. We've tested that in every way you can think of, man. It's good to watch. It's hard to demonstrate by myself. If I had one of my guys here, I could. But I'd watch that channel. Sucker punch requires help. My favorite way, though, is you get a partner and you learn a block first. Please learn a block, like either from us or somewhere. And then once you've got that block, you put a buddy in boxing gloves. You put on a mouthpiece. You let him stand about 3 or 4 feet away and let him loop a shot. Don't tell him how to throw it. And you catch it, okay? And you resettle, hands down. Let him come at you, lift your hands up, you catch it. As you get better at it, then you smother the distance. So you shorten the reaction time by getting closer together. So as we get closer together, I've got less time to react to the shot, and I'm having to read whether it's a right or a left or straight down the middle. That's how you practice defending the sucker punch. Joni, so you're going Bruce Lee on me. Would you say that no art is the best by applying several into one? That sounds a little Bruce Lee. And I will tell you that when I trained with Joe Louis, some of the coolest stuff is when he would say, we would do a certain move and he'd say, this is what Bruce and I used to do. That was just cool as heck, man, hearing him say that, knowing that Bruce Lee taught it. But yeah, so it's not, so here's what a martial art is. Most of you guys don't know this. Boxing is a martial art. Okay, martial art means you take a move like a punch or a choke, right? That's deadly, extremely dangerous, right? A punch or a choke. Then you develop ways of teaching, training, practicing, and getting good at those moves without hurting each other. That's what makes it an art. The second you step into a ring, it's no longer an art. It's a combat sport. Okay, so there's a huge difference in all of that. It is, I think the jab is a superior weapon. I like a jab, a straight right hand. You can't beat a tie round kick. You're crazy if you don't think. It's nasty. Inside kick, a good knee, a good hard elbow, a good takedown, a solid rear choke, a solid front choke. Be able to defend the mounted position, be able to hold somebody down off you if you have to. If you you're never going to master it. If you got really good at those things, pretty safe, man. And what is that? It's doing exactly what you said, Joni. It's combining several into one. Damien heard somebody tell him there's no such thing as a sucker punch. Only a sucker getting punched. He passed on. Yeah. So here's the thing about that. He's not wrong, but in today's world, somebody will just randomly swing, crack at you, and you're not always going to see it coming. We hope to think that we would, but unfortunately, the world isn't kind overall. Where's my gym located? I'm in North Carolina in Wilmington. David, my partner, is in Richmond, Virginia. Just had a guy come through from, he was from Maine. I forgot where he came from, but he came through Wilmington, did a block of training with me for a couple hours, signed up for Fighters College, and he's moving to Texas. We got people all over the country. So people can come in, they can work out with us in person, or our stuff online is legit because you get to have us watching you at the same time as you learn stuff. We like to make sure we keep you on track. Top feed, can't recommend. Hey, look, the jab. You guys do know that there's 10 different jabs, right? There's 10 different jabs. There's not one or two. There's 10 different varieties, and we teach all of those. So once you master one jab, you're just getting started. I agree with you. Somebody said, don't let me catch you in Burger Town. You asked how old I am, and I just want to say I'm 73. Cool. My man. Keep it up, buddy. What gym in Richmond? He works out at 3 or 4 different places. I've been there. I don't know the names. Mongrel MMA. Is it Mongrel? There's a great school up there. The trainer's, he's sick. He's really good. But David teaches striking there and at 2 other different schools. If you want that information, I can help you. He said he's 13. I thought he said he was 73. Yeah. Got sweat in my eyes. Just lock in on every fundamental. Yeah, it just takes you a while. Jab hazard, you're not giving bad advice. The problem is, at your age, that's great. But once you get to a certain point, you're going to lock in. You cross-train, but you lock in on one if you're going to get good at it. But yeah, good comments, man. All right, I'm going to give you guys about 20 more seconds. If you have any more questions, I'll get them. Appreciate you staying on. If you want to support the channel in any way, we'd love to get to a point where this is all I did was help you guys. So feel free to hit the super chat. Check out the fighterscollege.com or hit the super chat here inside the group. Would love it. Appreciate the support if you do it. Anthony attended a Joe Louis seminar. Yeah, man. So basically, Anthony, I started with Louis in 1990. 93. And then we trained, 20 years together. And I basically recorded everything. So what you see on the channel are all of my private lessons with Lewis. We recorded everything. So I don't have time to go through all of them, but I go through little by little and just release quick little shorts. And then in the Fighters College program, we released the full seminars and one-on-one lessons that I had with Lewis in there. It's good stuff. What's a way for me to incorporate judo into my wrestling? You got to train judo, and then you have to play under different rules. Like, you got to play under rules that'll force you to use certain tools. So for example, on a jab, if I want you to get good at the jab, I'm not going to let you throw your right hand. So I'm going to let you spar jab only. So it may be my jab against your jab, and then eventually I may add a right hand. So now you're jabbing, but you're having to defend. Pretty soon I'm boxing and you're only throwing the jab, and you may be throwing a straight jab, might be a power jab, inverted, speed jab, flick jab, stick, whatever. But we develop your jab by forcing you to use one tool. So if you want to incorporate other styles, you got to understand what good is it if you can't apply it. So you got to get yourself into a rules situation where you can practice the stuff that you're learning. If that made sense. Damien, yeah, he's got a... Hey, Damien, I appreciate you, man. All right. All right. So it looks like we've been on for a little over an hour. Wait, there's one more. So use my stance and use a throw or a trip until I understand. But yeah, you just gotta, a lot of the movements are the same. They're same. They're the same in different styles. You find the same kind of throw, the same kind of takedown. It'll cross over different disciplines, and they just call it something different. Like your Japanese arm bars, Jujigatami, I'm gonna call it an arm bar because I'm not in Japan, but they call it different things. And then the rules that you have, or what's allowed, will allow you to practice it. So sometimes, what if the style that you're in is already teaching you a good bit of the judo? What if you want to become a competitive judo player? Then you probably ought to lean directly on judo because it's good stuff. Just think that through. Don't try to train so many styles that it confuses you. That's the only thing. All right. So I guess this looks like I'm going to try to come back and do another one of these later this week, maybe Thursday. Appreciate you guys staying on and watching. Love the good attitudes. Love all of the questions. Here we go. How do you gain control over the flinch reflex when a punch is coming your way? Man, these are... All right, let me see if I can get somebody over here Thursday for my live, and I'll come on and teach you guys. So the way you practice that is you have to train the drill. What does the drill look like? So I like this. Flinching isn't bad. Closing your eyes is bad. So we flinch like this. So you flinch. You see Tony Blauer teaches this thing outside 90. We love it. We adapted it, stole it, tweaked it a little bit. But he came up with this concept. So you throw your hands up, your forearms are outside of 90 degrees. Think like this. You're trying to push a car out of a ditch, your arms are almost extended. That's where you're the strongest. On a bench press, you're the strongest as you extend the bar. You're weaker as you flex the joint. So if the bar's on your chest, what's all the guys in the gym say? Hey man, help me get this off my chest. So they help me pick it up, and then once I get farther, I get stronger. That's this position. Your hands are not in here, they're out here. So if you flinch, whoop, you learn to flick your hands up, open, with your elbows angled outside of 90. It's a really strong block position. You can shield a punch, defend a takedown, frontal choke, all from the same move. So you practice flinching, 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 and then you have somebody throw something at you like a glove or swing, and you flinch and get your hands up, and you learn to relax. And again, you start from a couple feet away, let him throw, so you got time to respond. And as you get better, you choke up, choke up, choke up. And as they get closer, in the video I'm telling you about in detail, it's in the channel. You won't last 2 seconds if you can't do this. That's the name of the video. Go watch it because you see me demonstrate that. And we're like this close, and I've got my man looping punches at me, and I'm not telling him what punch to throw like in martial arts. You can't do that, right? He throws it and I just flinch to deflect it. That is the number one way to get past that. You can really learn to handle the flinch a lot better if you can practice that kind of drill. It's not fun, just so we're clear. Not fun. I got it. Yeah, I do. I have a video you can watch, man. Glad for you to do it. Another one. How do I escort someone off of property while trying to limit their ability to punch back? Kind of like so some of the, no, there's ways of doing it, right? The problem is a lot of these, like I had one of my trainers who I'm going to have on the channel soon. He was Whitney Houston's actual bodyguard. He might be 70 by now, but he was Whitney's actual bodyguard. If you look up, he's a little Jewish dude, bald headed with glasses. He looks like he would be nothing. And he's Whitney's bodyguard. So if you look up Whitney Houston in the 90s, 96 to like 2000 or so, up until a little bit, he wasn't her bodyguard anymore when she passed away, but he was really good with all little joint locks and come-alongs. I'm not a fan because under stress, and wrists are slippery. It's hard to apply some of that. If you are security personnel, have a badge, or are in a position of authority, I think there's a mental advantage when somebody deals with you. There is somewhat of a submittal because of your authority, your ability to get them in trouble or whatever that would be. But for me, it would be, I would go for a chokehold and drag you out. Like I've used the chokehold in a street fight. I know it works. I don't have to question it. I'll just choke you and drag you. I don't know what your situation are. Don't take my advice because I don't know exactly. Are you a security guard? Oh, it says asking as security. All right. So I would learn the locks, right? I'd learn them. And then I would get really good at verbal skills, really good at de-escalating. And if it's me, if things go down, it's leg kick, choke hold, drag you out. Sorry. I just think that's realistic, Baron. But that doesn't mean, another thing is how big are you? If you're a bigger, stronger dude, you're going to make stuff work against littler guys. So, that's kind of my thoughts. Good question, dude. Might have to make a video on some more of that. We spend most of our time here doing striking, and I don't teach a lot of that stuff as much because the channel Glove Up is supposed to be all about striking. Yeah, Baron, I can get into that a lot more. Wait a minute, you said limiting their ability to punch back, like arresting them without cover. So I do have an answer to that, actually. I should have read that more carefully. It's going to be hard to demonstrate, but when I had my school up near Winston-Salem, I had detectives who would come in, and they'd be like, yeah, we heard that you're teaching this thing that can neutralize somebody without hurting them. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, even if they're punching or going crazy. I'm like, yeah, definitely can. So I would let these guys, the biggest guy to come in was, he's probably 6'4", 6'5", like 245. He's built, and I'm like 5'10" and a half. And I just shut him down with this outside 90. So when he would punch, I would just deflect it and sort of lock him up and sort of hook him behind the neck. And the more pressure he put on me, the easier it was. If he tried to grab me, he would choke himself. If he applied pressure, he would kind of choke himself, and then I would just kind of lead him. He would actually lead himself across the room. Maybe shoot me a message, man, and let me see if I can explain that to you a little bit better. Okay? All right, guys, been great. Great audience. Thanks for all the questions. Look, after we hang up the live, I think all the comments go away, and they start anew. So if you want to... Hey man, a black belt in karate, nice. Hello from Brazil, good to have you. Like a Thai clinch. You guys aren't gonna let me go, are you? That's all right. Yes, no, not really, because I'm not hooking the head in this one. Okay, it's more of a. It's hard to explain. I have to show you. Go watch the video. You won't last 2 seconds. Watch that quick little video and then message me. And if you don't get it, I'll shoot some more detail on that. If you guys are interested in that stuff, there's a lot of really cool drills and material that you can integrate with your striking that you probably really like. All right, so what do? Support the channel if you can. Go to fighterscollege.com. Check out what we got going on. This is the last week that it's at our launch phase pricing. So if you want to see what that's like, at least go to the page, look at it, and then comment. Let me know what you think of the page. fighterscollege.com. Go check it out. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next live video. Until next time I see you, hands up, chin down, elbows in. Thank God every day that you got the strength to go one more round. We'll see you.